Parang Life, where we discuss issues about this thing called life. What is the essence of a woman? Is womanhood just a social construct? To give light to this matter is an empowered woman. She is a founding member of Catholic Voices Philippines and a trustee of Pro-Life Philippines Foundation, a communicator who does marketing, events, and communication strategies for non-profit organizations in the country. Welcome again to Buhay Parang Life, Nirvana de la Cruz. Nirva, hello again. Maraming salamat ulit at nandito ka na naman.
Hi, Tita. Thanks, Tita Rita, for having me again. It's nice to be
Okay.
back.
Tayong dalawa ay babae. So ano ba ang sinasabi nila? What does it mean to be a woman? Alam mo naman ngayon marami ng may gender ideology na, no? So what does it really mean to be a woman? Social construct lang ba yung womanhood?
That's such a, I would say, parang controversial topic, no, ngayon, Tita. Parang your answer to that could actually like determine if you get likes or thumbs down on Facebook or may or may magbablock pa sa'yo or will totally like unfriend you, ganyan. Kasi nowadays parang people want to think na the sexes are like interchangeable, na we're seeing the rise of the popular notion na what men can do, women can do, or even do it better.
Even better, yes.
Diba? Na parang, what is this? Competition ba to? Parang, are we enemies? Ganyan. So, I think I would say na, thank you for calling me an empowered woman. I would...
You are an influencer to young women and maybe even to older women.
So, yeah, I hope so. Pero parang a lot of people actually question din. Parang, ano ba talaga? Like feminism, do they have valid parang issues that they're raising now? Like oppression of women, yung women's rights. They're calling for like equality. Yung some, or it's a trend in, for example, US companies na they even have quotas for like hiring or placing women in strategic positions or leadership positions in companies, and they even parang in a way they would rate their companies also based on that criterion. So parang it's really becoming a thing now to think na women are just better men. Ba tayo nun? Parang, I don't know if that's like kind of an insult or what. Pero parang, ano ba talaga? I would still go back, Tita Rita, na the design of God for women is really distinct from men. Kumbaga, they are not just like better men or like men version 2.0. Yung parang ganon. So, womanhood is really still rooted in God's design na in a way, we are still parang finding our fulfillment as people, as human beings in God's design for women as, first of all, like to be nurturers.
Nurturers.
Yeah, to nurture life, diba? And it doesn't matter if kayo iba, hindi, I won't get married naman eh, or I don't have kids. For example, I'm married and I don't have kids. Pero it's nurturing other people or relationships kasi women are naturally more relational. It's so true kasi even, and science will really attest to this, na even the brains of women are really different from men's in how they process information, how they store memories, ganon. So, definitely, meron tayong ibang role in society, and how we contribute is really different. So I would say, yeah.
So itong womanhood, is it just a social construct?
First, I would say na in a way, yes, kasi parang kunwari, you were brought up to think na dapat hindi ka, you don't really need to be feminine, or kunwari, you're a biological female, pero parang drinil sa'yo na hindi, be whatever you want, play with trucks and soldiers, ganyan. And in a way, that will influence your thinking. Pero, it still is really a biological reality in a way rooted dun sa gusto ni God. Kasi, di mo naman mababago yung how you were made eh. Though, marami na rin na nag-try na baguhin yan. And I'm sure you know what I mean, Tita Ritz, and
Yes,
our
yes.
viewers know na meron talagang nagpapa-opera, yung talagang they reject, kumbaga, who they are in a way. No? So, yes, it's a social construct, pero deeper than that, it really is a God-given and preset reality. So in a way, hindi lang siya social construct. So it really is something na, kumbaga, it's part of God's plan for you. So,
So,
and
Nirva, tell us, how has ideas and ideologies about women, how has it evolved through the years? Nagbago na ba from the earlier times?
I would say definitely, Tita Ritz. And
Ano ba nung
um,
unang panahon?
parang nandun talaga ako, no? Pero based on my research, I've heard din people talk about this and like talks and other articles that I've read.
Yes, yes.
Pero talagang the the thinking or the notions or the even the parang perceptions of women have really changed. First of all, starting with the sexual revolution. And yun nga, yung women's lib, yung belief na women should be in the workplace. We shouldn't be tied down to taking care of our kids.
Right.
We're
Oh,
smart. We even outdo men in college. And this is true, like in the US, parang they're really seeing na women are not really the oppressed sex at all. It's actually maybe the men who are oppressed. Kasi talagang achieving yung mga babae. As in like they have higher parang percentage now na who finish college, and even parang more increasingly getting double degrees, master's, PhD. So talagang we're seeing a shift in a way the roles, the traditional roles of women. Na before homemaker, kumbaga parang it's an understood thing. Like naalala ko pa, like during the time of my lola, they would talk pa of like women na from high school diretso na ikakasal. Yung parang they already
right,
know,
right.
'di ba? They already know na I'm not so interested in college. I just wanna like have kids and like be a homemaker. And actually that's not such a bad thing. Parang nakita nga natin na society is suffering now because of the rejection of that original role. So ano nangyayari, tita? As in, parang there are a lot of women na, and of course, we will understand na marami talagang homes na maybe are challenged in the sense na the men are really not providing. Siyempre, wala tayo doon. Pero there are a lot of women talaga who are probably just parang naniwala doon sa culture na hindi, dapat, if you're a self-respecting woman, dapat, you're in a corporate job. You're climbing parang the corporate ladder and becoming a manager, a CEO, parang ganun.
Oh,
And
sige.
neglecting their kids, neglecting their husbands. So, anong nangyayari is, talaga, kids are really turning out like maladjusted. They don't know how to manage their emotions, or even basic. Di sila catechized, they don't know about the faith,
Kasi
pinabayaan, pinalaki
absent
ng
ang nanay sa bahay? Is that what you're saying?
exactly. That's the effect of pag wala yung nanay sa bahay. So, of course, I'm prepared again to get some very violent reactions about what I'm saying here. And even as a single person naman, sabihin nila na, hindi mo naman alam yan eh. Bakit, paano mo nasabi yan? Hindi ka naman
Oh, so,
naging yan.
what are the factors that affect this evolution, so to speak, of womanhood? Bakit from homemakers at after high school, mag-aasawa na at will bear children, mag-aalaga ng bata, to the present na modern women in high-profile jobs, in professions, in government? Ano yung mga factors na naka-affect dito?
Tita Ritz, it's so interesting. Pero parang dito mo makikita yung parang how demographics and like certain phenomenon or like Even habits of people really impact like how society
Happy
develops. I would say
habits?
first,
Happy
yeah,
habits?
I would say first is pornography talaga. So ano yung impact nito?
Okay.
They did so many studies na Tita Rita. Pornography, so this, we would think, of course, predominantly talaga it affects men. Pero ang effect nito is, it actually is emasculating men. So parang, sorry, to the guys listening. Pero talagang you become spineless when you're addicted to pornography, or even to some degree, even if you're not addicted, if you think you're not addicted pero you use it. Ano kasi parang they found out na pornography really, in a way, affects the home. So ang effect niyan, or even for single men, the effect is they are less likely to commit to marriage. So nangyayari nun, the resulting parang effect is more and more women are unmarried. So ang effect nun is, for example, they just ano na lang, they just focus on their careers, ganyan. Kasi wala namang marriageable men, or parang men who are like, in a way, parang have the thinking that they want to marry. Or if they're already married, parang nagsasuffer yung domestic life. So usually, parang tied din yung pornography to, parang marital problems. A lot of marriages end because of pornography. As in, they did a study na pornography daw is a reason for a lot of divorces in the US. Kasi ano na yun eh, parang breakdown of intimacy. Parang if in a way you're more bonded to your pornography and not to your spouse, ano
Oh,
na, what can you expect? So, parang nagsa-spiral down na siya. So, in effect, yung woman, ano na, ganyan naman yung asawa ko eh. So, dito na lang ako sa career ko. So, para siya
ah,
nagsa-cycle.
oo. Would you
So,
say, Nirvana, these days may distorted ideas about womanhood? What do you say? May fake feminism?
definitely, like, now, I know Tita Ritz, when I was in college, as in, I wanted to join Gabriela. As in,
Gabi,
like, kasi in UP before, as in, I had so much fun. Kasi ang daming orgs, as in, like, I don't know what org to choose kasi this is so much fun. As in, like, UP Fencing Club, debate society,
alright.
um, meron pa nun yung Philippine-Japanese Friendship Club, Philippine Collegiate, sabi ko, ano pa talaga? Tapos yung Gabriela, sabi ko, gusto ko talaga yung Gabriela. Parang
Why?
gusto ko
Why?
na,
What attracted you to Gabriela?
ayun nga, the thinking na we are empowered women, we wanna be who we're supposed to be, ganyan-ganyan. And, di ba, Tita Ritz, nature loves a vacuum. Eh. So when people or young women don't have like, maybe like people or models to follow, or anyone at all in their lives really showing them na, hey, this is how a woman should be,
Yes.
then they will find someone who can do that for them. And usually, ito nga, yung fake feminism yun. So, ito na yun yung bra burning na ano na, ay, yung
So
mga
what is,
lalaki,
ano ba, what is, when you talk of fake, may genuine? What is
yeah,
genuine
definitely.
feminism?
Definitely, Tita Ritz. I would say, syempre, parang in a way, ano ko lang to, branding ko lang nito. Pero the original role and design of God for women, that is the real feminism. And I always say,
That is, tell our viewers, what is God's plan for women?
guys, I don't know how to break it to you, but our role is really to be
Yes, it
relational.
is.
It's really to be someone for others. That's really the role of women. Parang even if we reject it, it's really there. Eh. So even nuns, consecrated virgins, for example,
Hmm.
they live their lives, they stay chaste and pure, not for themselves, pero to give themselves fully to other people. So parang that is the innate design of God for woman, to be relational. So you obviously we see that in motherhood kasi talagang Tita Ritz, and I'm sure you know that, yung talagang yung diyan nanggagaling yung mga quotes na yung nanay isusubo na lang niya, ibibigay na lang niya sa anak niya, yung ganong level of sacrifice and self-giving. That's the
Yan
pattern.
talaga ang plano ng Diyos para sa babae. Will you, may mga iba kasing babae na sinasabi na that they are oppressed. Are women really still oppressed these days?
To be honest, Tito Ritz,
Yes.
of course, it's a reality. I mean, I'm not denying that in a lot of countries, like for example, in the Middle East or in other parts of Africa, like we have very concrete, parang very backward mga practices pa rin. Like for example, you have um, FGM pa rin, you have female genital mutilation, yung female circumcision.
Oh, all right. Meron pa yan sa ibang country.
Oh, that's, nung nabasa ko yun, I'm like,
To this
what?
day, meron pa niyan?
Yeah, yeah. And ano yan, that's very, parang prevalent pa rin in some tribes in Africa. Siyempre not all, pero some still do. And
Okay.
grabe, so when you know the reason, talagang parang, ugh, parang you really realize that this is why there are a lot of feminists pa rin. So yung reason daw nun is so that the woman won't enjoy lovemaking so much so that hindi siya manglalaki. What? Like,
Double standard, no? Pero ang
ah,
lalaki can enjoy. What
exactly.
about in like first world countries like for example North America?
I would say ano pa rin, tita, there is still um I can't say na women are so totally empowered that we really dominate the men. Kasi meron pa ring rape, meron pa ring sexual abuse, domestic violence. These are very real issues and I'm not downplaying them or saying na hindi yung totoo, we're so
Real,
powerful.
right?
Pero I would still say ano yun eh, parang the way or the direction that the men go in society, in a way they will drag the women. So parang if the men are not empowered or the men themselves feel emasculated, that's why they perpetrate these crimes. So, kumbaga parang cycle siya. Hindi mo rin masabi where it began eh. Is it because men are just naturally evil? Of course, we know na hindi. So parang saan nanggagaling yun? So para siyang, and men, kunwari abuse women kasi nga they grew up in motherless homes. Yung connected siya. And para makikita mo na even the studies show na all sexual predators, yung mga rapists, yung mga pedophiles, all of them use pornography. Diba? And
Right.
in a way, pornography din, parang it shows na saan ba galing yun? Ano bang setting magta-thrive ang pornography? Diba it's in a home where there is no love? It's a home na they feel they're lonely. They no one is there. So who will they connect to? They'll connect to images on their phones, on the screen, 'di ba? So parang they're just like symptoms. So I would say women are oppressed. Pero in a way din ano eh, parang mas marami na rin ngayon yung men who are actually the oppressed ones eh. So ano na, parang tas nada-drag down na lang yung mga babae kasi nga men are not also like they don't understand their role and they don't know how to be real men. That's why they mistreat women. So parang it's just like it's a bad cycle talaga na we don't know how to cure it. So ayun, I would still say na parang for women to have the best parang lives and to really live fulfilled lives, men should have it too. Alam mo yun? Parang hindi,
Para
you
yung
can't do that.
complementarity ng buhay ng babae at
Exactly.
lalaki.
Exactly. You can't say na, okay, ito, let's take care of them, let's make them, parang, let's invest in their development. Tapos yung isa may iwanan. They
Hindi.
really go together. So, ayun, that,
What do you say to women who insist that they have a right to their bodies because they own their bodies? Yan ang battle cry ngayon ng mga babae, di ba? That is why they want access to contraception. They want abortion because this is my body. I own it. What do you say to women who says that?
I would say na, of course, we really value freedom. I mean, nobody wants to be told what to do. I mean, sometimes even if you know it's right, we don't really like being told na you have to do something or because like this is the right thing to do. Parang we want to have a sense of self-agency
Yes.
or control, a certain degree of control in our lives. Lalo na katawan mo, for example, you have a partner, tapos yun nga, you have sex, ganyan. Tapos, in your mind, you know na you don't want to marry this person. Pero, because of that, you might have a baby na you feel na you don't want, you're not prepared to support,
Right.
you're still studying, yung mga ganun. And these are like realities na women face. Pero, ang question ko na is, paano na lang yung baby na nandun, na sa katawan mo, wala ba siyang right then
Correct.
that her or his body will not be like smashed into pieces? Kasi yung ibang abortion methods, ganyan, di ba, Tita Ritz? Yung talagang kinakrush sa loob ng nung womb, tapos dinodraw out isa-isa. Cutteridge yata yung method na
Right.
yun. Pero, kumbaga, that life ba, that baby, wala rin ba siyang right? So, parang, I get the point na you want your freedom. Pero, once that life starts, kumbaga meron na rin siyang
Karapatan.
own agency and own parang right to life. And to argue na hindi naman yun buhay, that's a clump of cells. I think that's another argument altogether. Pero kumbaga, kasi ngayon, now, we'll have to discuss kailan man nagsa-start yung life, mga ganun-ganun. Pero if you're really a feminist, if you really believe in total female empowerment, paano yung mga baby girls
Right.
na nakukonceive? Paano pala sila? Like, ano pala to dinadaan lang natin sa size. So pag you're a big woman, you're like the mama, you get your rights protected, pero the baby girl who you conceived has no rights anymore kasi maliit siya. I mean, okay, like, where is your feminism? Diba? So, I think, ano lang siya, parang it's really, and it's an emotional discussion. I'm not saying parang it's so easy to talk about kasi marami talagang buhay na, in a way, talagang totally changed and shifted because of decisions like that. Like, yan, yung mga, kunwari, having sex with people na won't marry you, or, alam mo yung mga ganong things.
Right.
Alam,
Right.
lives have changed because of that. Pero, the deeper question is then, paano na lang yung lives din, other lives of these small people na ma-affect because of what you did. So I hope that will get you thinking.
What are the other challenges? You mentioned kanina pornography. What other challenges do women face these days?
Ang dami, Tita Ritz. It's
Uh,
so, I would still
of
say,
two?
with our time, with our limited time, I would say, Tita Ritz, I would still choose to be a woman kasi being a woman is so awesome. Like, ayoko maging lalaki, obviously. Pero, ang daming challenges ng women. First of all, I would say is fatherlessness, or parang emotionally absent father.
Ano ang nangyayari ba? It is a sad reality. We are not judging, pero people need to know ano ba ang impact ng absence of a father in a home, lalo na sa mga babae.
Ang dami, Tita Ritz. So there was this, I'm not sure if it was a New Zealand study. Ano talaga ako as in, addict ako sa mga study. Kasi parang in a way, I'm fascinated by the fact na science actually proves yung sinasabi ng simbahan.
Advocacy. Oh, right. And what we are fighting for.
Totoo pala yung sinasabi ng mga bishop na yan kahit di sila kasal. Alam mo yun, they're on the right track and science actually proves it. And I mean, research to some degree. Syempre may limitations yung mga studies. Pero it's so telling. So first of all is those who have really grown up fatherless, yung mga daughters, are more prone, have a higher risk na they get pregnant earlier. They're sexually active earlier. Tapos, marami talagang kunwari findings on the very crucial role of fathers in the home. I looked at this study called the GRAT study of Harvard. It was a 75-year study. Tapos, Tita Ritz, grabe, yung influence ng father, if the child, they studied mga Harvard graduates. Pero eventually, they also did a parang counterpart study for non-Harvard naman. Kasi sabihin nila, baka naman
iba yung yung maid ng mga nasa Harvard.
Baka smart lang sila. Pero like different socioeconomic status din kasi marami ring scholars sa Harvard. So they really looked at like a diverse sample. So they found out na how happy you are in your marriages is dependent on how okay your relationship was with your father. Second is how well you cope with stress, yung how psychologically healthy you are. Kala ko din dati sa mom to, yung parang 'di ba syempre we're
Pala,
matriarchy. Oo, like to the point nga na I'm almost on the verge of thinking that fathers might actually be more important. Kasi parang sabi ko, bakit ganun? Maybe that's also the design of God. Kasi 'di ba si God always says na I'm your
father,
father.
yes, God
He
the
never
Father,
said
yes.
I'm your mother or I'm your parent. Father
Father
talaga.
talaga.
So interesting. And maybe this is hard for us to accept as matriarchal Filipinos kasi we're very matriarchal. In Asia, grabe. In Asia, we are probably so, I would say, empowered yung mga Filipinas compared to our Asian counterparts, even to supposedly progressive countries like, even like Singapore or South Korea, lalo na South Korea, Japan.
You're right.
Like, I digress, Tita Ritz, pero ang interesting kasi ng point na to. Parang sa Philippines daw, we have parang the highest ratio of, I forgot what the ratio is called, pero yung ratio of like women in leadership positions in different industries. So, political, corporate, yung ganon. Tayo daw yung highest in Asia. And I'm like,
Oh, okay.
Asia Pacific pa nga eh. So I'm like, that is so cool. Pero
Yes.
maybe it's also time to revisit. Maybe that has been working against us. Kasi sa atin din na na-popularize yung term na under the saya, yung mga gano'n, yung baka naman na-overpower na ng mga Filipino women, yung mga
Are you
lalaki in the
saying
society.
that is not a good thing, really?
No, obviously not. Kasi nga, parang ano tayo eh, we are the nurturers. We are relational. We're not supposed to like lord it over people, especially not the men in our lives. So, kumbaga, if you're going to follow and I always think, and this is just my theory, siguro partially inspired by Saint Paul. Pero, the head daw is the man and the body is the woman. So, yung body ba, is the body the one that tells or nagmamando? Like, kunwari, yung katawan mo, like, just, feel ko kasi matulog, yan ang feeling ko. Pero your mind says na hindi, Tita Rich, kailangan mo bumangon kasi meron ka pang, taping ng, buhay parang life. Huwag ka
Kahatid ng
matulog.
bata.
Diba? So, in a way, um, the head or the man, I don't know if this is answering your question na, pero parang I went na down this path. So tatapusin ko na.
Sige lang.
Parang the man is the head and always looking out to take care of the body. The body is submitted to the head and follows what the head says. Kasi nga, alam naman niya na alagaan siya. Meron lang rebellion pag yung head is like, not thinking about the body or like ignoring, neglecting it, yung ganon. So, obviously, yung under the saya, maybe it's a band-aid solution. For example, alam ko, hindi naman talaga madali yung married life. Pero, for example, yung mga wives, ano tawag dyan, i-dominate lang nila yung mga asawa nila para gawin yung gusto nila. Pero after nun, ano mangyayari? Like, did the relationship become better? Was
Right.
the wife a nurturing parang person? Did she nurture the relationship? Or was she like just, kumbaga parang binuli niya lang yung asawa? And how
Huli lang.
sustainable is that? Na ibuli mo lang yung asawa mo? Parang, ang sagwa. As ang ending nun, Tita Ritz, is nagiging nagger yung mga wives. And nobody wants that. And I don't even think women like being nags. Diba? I mean, even we don't like nagging. Parang, siguro some women lang
Yes.
na wala na kasi akong magawa, hindi naman kasi ito nakikinig sa akin eh. So parang, alam mo yun, parang, edi yung lalaki,
Okay, so
lalo,
as a final word to our viewers, Nirva, tell us or describe to us this genius that is called woman.
okay, so, I would say, God is really the first feminist. Kasi, even in the Bible, I think the original Hebrew word, ezer, na was used to describe Eve as the helper is also the same
Right.
word
Oh,
that is used in other parts of the Bible for like a comrade in war. Someone na kasama mo sa gera. And I'm like, that is so cool.
parang partner in life. Ganun ba
Yeah,
yun, no? Partner
yeah.
in life.
Even
Right.
partner in crime in a way. Not naman crime na crime. Pero parang yung kasangga mo talaga sa buhay. So,
Kasangga, kasama sa
exactly.
buhay.
Yeah. And hindi siya yung kakawawain, aalilain, or whatever. Pero talagang she represents God's help to you. So I would say that's the the genius of woman na she's actually an embodiment of the divine. That is so cool. So parang in a
So
way,
beautiful. Oo.
I would close siguro by quoting this quote from Saint Irenaeus yata. Pero sabi niya, man is the glory of God, but woman is the glory of man.
Oh,
That is
thank you
so
so
cool.
much.
So thank you to all the women. I hope we can be like that.
Yes. A woman, the woman is the embodiment of the divine. What a beautiful thought to leave with you right now. This is Rita Dairit reminding you today, haba-habaan pa ang pasensya sapagkat ang buhay parang life.